being in an interracial relationship is an experience all of its own for lots of different reasons, but what I want to touch on today is the amount of people that feel like they can and should comment on like how my husband and I are different races is astronomical. And the kicker is like it's never to me. It is always to my husband that people just feel so comfortable approaching him and letting him know when they find out that he's married to a half black woman that, oh, really? I just didn't see that for you. The amount of times that somebody has said to my husband, I just pictured you more with like a white, blonde, like blue-eyed girl, not that, is fucking weird. It's giving internalized racism, and it's not a good conversation to have. So to the people who feel so comfortable to make these comments to interracial couples all over the globe, ask yourself why for a second. Take a beat back, ask yourself why, and then cut that shit out immediately.
Let's be real. Interracial relationships look so cute on social media, but nobody really talks about the real work behind them. Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reacting to TikTok clips where people share their experiences dating outside their race. So it includes both the good, the uncomfortable, and the things that people don't warn you about. This is not a hate video, it's just an educational and honest conversation. So whether you are in an interracial relationship, considering one, or just curious to know, stay with me. We are going to watch these clips and then we shall react. And if you like deep conversations about dating, relationships, and social dynamics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's get started.
If most of you didn't know, I'm dating an Icelandic woman. Here are a couple of struggles that I face with dating an Icelandic woman. They're not really about that whole chivalry thing. Opening the door for them, paying for the meal, I had to learn how to cut that out real quick. They are super independent. 2, the language is so hard to understand and learn. I've been trying and I think I only got like 2 phrases.
Where you know?
Guatequera. And lastly, the difference between the cultures. Every time I try to talk about American culture as far as like pop culture, movies or anything like that, she doesn't really get it. And I don't get her culture. There's that gap barrier in between.
It's actually quite common for people to assume me and my boyfriend aren't together. That's probably the most consistent form. I don't know if this is considered a microaggression, but microaggression that we get. One time I was in Florida with his family, his sister's family, who obviously doesn't look anything like me. We went to a theme park and they always ask you how many guests. She gave a very clear number. I was at the back of the line. They stopped me and they were like, how many? And I had to be like, I'm with them, the white family. It happened a ridiculous amount of times, more times than I felt was a comfortable amount. So yeah, it's highly likely that the guard didn't even know that he and I were together until he came and started speaking to him.
What's your name? My name's Courtney. And where are you from? I'm from England. And why did you first come to Korea? So I was here as an English teacher initially. And then I ended up meeting my husband.
How is it like being married to a Korean as a foreigner?
It definitely had its kind of ups and downs, like a lot of cultural differences, and the way like we would do things often resulted in like a lot of arguments.
And what cultural differences were there?
It was mostly just about like the way we would speak to each other. I love to like banter and kind of roast people, and he sometimes found it disrespectful. So we were together for 4 years, married for 3 years, and like we just recently started the process of getting a divorce.
And would you date or marry a Korean guy again?
Probably not. The only time that I think I would is if they were like Gyopo, like if they were from like if they've been brought up in like Western country. If it's a like total Korean guy, we end up just like clashing.
Kenya, you can marry 2 wives or more. Only 1 wife, or we don't have a future.
Protects me that she doesn't let me read those comments in Ukrainian.
I really felt that people are racist. Somebody texted me almost every my videos, I will find you and I will get rid of you. I grew up in Ukraine. Man doesn't go to the kitchen, he doesn't help with anything, just to sit and relax. I didn't agree with that.
When we were dating, a lot of confusion comes because language barrier. There is a lot of confusion.
For me, so rude, like, am I your soldier? Am I your dog? I was so offended.
the child is the father's, he will most likely have to adopt much of the Kenyan language, culture, food, and everything.
When you marry each other, you may have some problems.
What are you upset about?
Because I'm woken up first thing in the morning. It's like a call centre in here. Ringing. Hello, Daddy! I can't get
That is not how I talk.
Bang! Phone on the ground. Lights go on. Suitcases are coming out. I've lost this. I've lost that. Bang! Bang! Beep! 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 Phones. Hello, Mommy! Bang! Bang! 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like a call centre. I can't get a moment's peace, and it's Saturday, Papa.
Oh, Papa, I'm sorry. Don't be upset. You're so cute when you're
Very lucky
angry.
that you got me a cup of tea, because this could have gone really nasty.
Crisis averted then. Love you.
I asked him for advice, and I asked him, like, how did your mom do this, or how did your mom do that? Because I feel like that with white families, more goes. Like, we're not as respectful to our parents. My mom absolutely adores Kia. In regards to my stepdad, he every now and again would make a comment, or I'd hear it via the grapevine.
But one day, like, we were at their house, he asked me something about Eskom and Jacobs and some of the standout cultural differences. The first one that I noticed was the dogs thing. They stay outside, they sleep in the garage.
Our dogs are our friends and family members.
This dog sleeps in the bed.
They sleep in the bed.
You know what I'm saying? That's a big cultural difference for me. The age thing doesn't really matter to me, doesn't really come to me at all.
The age gap only became a thing when people started asking us about it.
I remember the first time my husband ever tried Nigerian food. Not like the basics, deep-rooted Nigerian food. So I remember I finished cooking okra in the kitchen, and I'm just sitting in front of the TV, eating my okra, having the best time. I asked my husband if he wanted to have some, and he was like, sure. Bear in mind, he's only had jollof rice, fried rice. So anyways, I give my husband a bite of my okra with pounded jam, and he's like... And I'm like, what's the problem? He was like, it tastes like frog spew. Frog spew. Tell me why I can't erase the thought of frog spew from okra since that day. It gets funnier because my parents come round probably about 2-3 months later, and my mum's cooking all these different types of Nigerian dishes. She's cooking snail, she's cooking jollof rice, you see for my husband being the good son-in-law that he is. He's like, oh my gosh, I love Nigerian food. Mum, whatever you make, I'm gonna eat it, I'm gonna enjoy it. Really gingering her up. So my mum finishes cooking and she serves him a plate. I'm telling my mum, give him like a small bit, like don't waste your food. As far as giving him snail or giving him panla, I think like maybe we just need a little bit more time, okay? My mum served my husband this big plate. Now I remember looking over to my husband and his plate was still full. He looked like he was struggling. I was like, babe, what's going on? He's like, oh, you know, I just had a big lunch. That's what they always say. Big lunch. All right. So then my mum says, Jeff, you don't like the food? He's like, I love it, Mum, I love it. And he chows like he eats so much. He's like, oh my God, I love it. As he's saying, I love it, and he's eating, I see a big piece of snail going into his mouth, and I'm like, okay, cool. Tell me why the moment my mum turned her back, he took what was in his mouth and put it in a tissue. And then started to rearrange his plate to show gaps on the plate to look like he had eaten more food than he had eaten. I'm like, babe, how's the snail? He's like, it's delicious. And I'm like, Mum, Jeff really likes the snail. You should give him more. He loves it. So Mum's like, of course, there's so much. Brings him more snail. My husband's looking at me and he's rolling his eyes. He's like, I know what you did there. And I'm like, oh, good. Next thing you know, my mum goes to the restroom and my husband rushes up. My husband rushes up to the kitchen and throws the food in the bin. So my mum comes out of the restroom. My mum's like, oh, did you enjoy your food, Jeff? And Jeff's like, yeah, I loved it. It was so amazing. I loved it. It was delicious. Thank you so much, Mum. I'm like, Mum, he didn't eat it. He threw it in the bin.
Another thing about the language barrier, and I think I mentioned this before, is there is always a side of me that I don't think you will get to know because you interact different in your first language or like, yeah, so it's
like when I see you talking to your parents, you guys are laughing and joking around, I be like, I wonder what they saying. I mean, like she laughs and jokes around with me, but this is different.
The thing is, like, when you speak a different language, even though I'm fluent in English, it's like the timing of stuff. I'm so sarcastic, and you might not even know that side of me. I mean, you know that side of me, but not like, yeah, like I can't time it right in English.
Yeah.
I can't time it. And
I've heard you tell jokes in English, and
babe, you always laugh.
I do always laugh. I do always laugh.
Babe, no, don't do that. You told me the other day I was actually funny.
Yeah, I said you funny. I tell you all the time you funny. Because I want to lift her up. That's the thing about our marriage. We gotta lift each other
you're
up.
Not lifting
and I want you to.
I was lifting you up.
I want you to get comfortable with telling jokes in English.
My fiance and I have just finished a pretty big argument, and I think so. Recently, I've noticed how different, or how much culture matters, how much your culture and the environment that you were raised in matters when it comes to relationships. I am of Chinese ethnicity. My parents were Chinese. I was raised Chinese with, traditional values, and he's white. He is so white, and he was raised differently than I was, and he had different role models than I did, and he just has a different way of thinking that I don't think that he's wrong, but I'm not wrong either. And I don't know how to move past that or figure it out. I don't think I really realized this or noticed this until after I came back from China. And I guess I just saw how other girls were being treated and how I deserved to be treated, frankly. The argument that we had, it's not like it was the biggest deal, but it's the way that it's the communication, I think. Yeah, it's the communication, because I feel like men in America hide their emotions a lot more. I can't pinpoint what it is, but it's frustrating, is what it is.
I have to share because this just has happened too many times to my husband. For those of you that do not know, I am in an interracial marriage. My husband is black and I'm Korean. We also are homeowners. We purchased our home 7 years ago in a middle upper class suburban neighborhood with our hard-earned money. There have been several incidents of what you would call racial profiling. First incident, my husband was going to get his mail one late afternoon on a weekend, and this old white man pulls up in our fucking driveway and starts screaming at my husband, accusing him of stealing his own fucking mail. This morning, for the second or third time this week, this older Asian lady was following my husband on his walk that he's been doing for the past I don't know how many years. What's even more sad about an already sad situation is my husband is explaining this incident and thinking of all the witnesses that he would need to keep in mind in case this lady wants to lie and accuse him of something. We gotta do better. My people, we have to do better. Thank you for just listening and hearing me out.
Cross-cultural relationships are so hard sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest, it requires more patience, understanding, and listening than any other relationship I've been in. My boyfriend is from Southeast Asia in Thailand. The first thing I've noticed is how little understanding my boyfriend has on money and how much things cost. The other day, I printed all these photos for a gallery wall, and I was complaining about how expensive it was. He thought I was insane because it should only be 2 cents a photo. Another thing is how drastically different the two of us grew up. I grew up lower middle class, so by no means was I privileged, but in contrast with his country, that's extreme wealth. Another thing that's so different is how our friendships are. My boyfriend went to a Korean school that was pretty much a boarding school for all kinds of students. All the students were from Europe and Asia. This means that after school, all of his friends would just go back to their country. In America, we're encouraged to set down roots. For Graham, it's like you make a friend and they move away and then you never see them again. I think the most difficult thing has been him learning how to find love for people who are not his own. It's very common for other countries to make make fun of Americans because we're very privileged and we don't even realize it. When Americans complain all the time, it's hard to find empathy because so many people would kill for our life. He does have a lot of empathy for me because now I'm his people. I will encourage you with this. The longer we're together, the better we get at communication and understanding. And honestly, being in a cross-cultural relationship has made me the best person I've ever been. Love you!
Nothing irritates me more than when my husband and I are out to eat or getting drinks or doing any number of things, and when the check comes, they ask if it's together or separate. My husband is black. I am white. We have been dating since 2008. We've been married since 2015. And the amount of times that this has happened, it's not a million, right? But it's enough that it just bothers me so much. Yesterday, after we got done golfing in the afternoon, we went to a local Coney Island and we got lunch. And at the end, the server brought the check. It was on one. And she goes, "Is this together or is this separate?" Ma'am, we are here enjoying lunch together. She's clearly seen we've interacted this whole time. He's my fucking husband. Sorry, babe, we're a package deal. So yes, everything's on one check. But at the end of the day, I don't understand because I know for a fact, had he been white, that would not have been a question. It wouldn't have been a question all the other times that we were asked because it's clear we're there together and this is my husband. I just don't understand. And to preface this, I served and bartended for many years and never once did I have this as an issue or did it ever enter my mind to try and separate a check or think that a check was separate because the male and female were of different races. I'm sorry, you literally can't tell me that it was for any other reason because what you would have done is set the check down and then somebody would have responded, "Oh, I'm sorry, can we have this separated?" We were in a group of 30, right, where you asked beforehand. It was the two of us and it wouldn't have been hard to separate if we wanted it to be separated, but no, he's stuck with me and it just irritates me so much. I'm sure it's plenty of other interracial couples who go through the same damn thing. It's just insane that it is even something that still happens and it freaking just grinds my gears every damn time it happens. One of these times I'm probably just gonna lose my cool and just go off, but yesterday was not that day. Okay, love you, bye. Spread love.
This is why I tell black people, whenever you date outside your race, just be prepared for your significant other family members to be racist. You'll be so surprised about how many people do not like you just because of your skin color, period. And what's so sad about this is that his significant other is obviously bothered by this because now she has to cut off her family members all because they don't like him because of his skin tone. You know what I'm saying? It's just fucked up all around. And honestly, it's probably messing with her mental health. And like, do you know how brave you have to be to cut off your family and not ever be in no contact with them until they change their ways and behavior? It is hard. Like, for example, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle literally got together and his family was completely being racist towards her just for the simple fact that she was biracial and she had black in her. And what's so ironic about these situations is that not only does it hurt the people that are together, but it's also hurting the child that's probably involved in all of this and who's probably biracial. So yeah, just like when it comes to like racist family members or racist family groups, just watch out for them, because if they are coming around your significant other and you know your significant other is not the skin complexion that they want them to be, they're gonna treat them horribly. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments.
I get this question a ton, and I'm gonna be very honest, I wasn't able to do it myself. I remember meeting with my sister in a coffee shop, just like full of tears, like serious anxiety. I was like shaking talking to her, like in public too, by the way. Like I was crying in this coffee shop, telling her how I was so scared about introducing my now husband to my parents. I knew when I told them a few things were going to happen. One, I was going to get in trouble. Two, they were going to be very unhappy. And three, it was just going to be like the most uncomfortable, cringy conversation ever. And a big reason for that was because my husband and I are from two different cultures. I'm Gujarati and he's Sri Lankan. And I knew that not only was I going to get in trouble, but this was going to create a negative energy within our household as well. Like, it wasn't just going to be my problem, it was kind of going to be like everyone's problem, and I felt really guilty about that. And also at that point in my life, I wasn't very emotionally mature. I hadn't started my healing journey properly, and I knew I wouldn't be able to articulate myself well. And whenever I did have conversations about what I wanted to do with my life and kind of going against what my parents wanted, it always resulted in a really like bad, huge argument. So I was basically too terrified to tell them. And my sister was like, okay, don't worry, I'll tell them for you. She's like a fucking lifesaver. So she's the one that actually told them while I was out of the country. I went away for work. So my sister made the conversation a lot easier to have. She also like really talked down my parents from like getting upset. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that she was already married and they kind of took her a little bit more seriously now because she was older and married and whatever. And I feel like she has like a better way of talking to my parents. But she basically told them not to get mad at me, especially because I was going through a ton of health issues at the time. So they were like, you know, if you get mad at her and put more stress on her, it's going to make her health even worse. And then I kind of took it on from there after I came back from my work trip. But her having that conversation with them made it so much easier to talk to them about the whole situation. They didn't get as upset as I thought they would. I think it would have been a different story if I had told them directly, because I know I would have ended up saying some shit that would have like really made them angry, because I wouldn't have been able to contain my emotions. But that conversation was still awkward. Like, my parents still weren't happy. And I still got hit with all the questions of like, why didn't you tell us you were dating? Why didn't you date someone within our community? How do we know they're good people? And obviously they had heard like stereotypes of what Tamil people were like and had their concerns about that. But once they met him, they felt a lot more comfortable with him after that. So that was
6 challenges we face as a married interracial couple. Let's go. My first one would be the language. I never understood the dialect, so it was harder for me to navigate myself using Google Translate for some of the Arabic and French words, and I just didn't work. So it was kind of a struggle for me to get around in Morocco the first time around.
Communicating with my family then.
Yeah, well, they saw my emotions through how I said things, but overall it was very difficult going outside and asking for things, but yeah.
The second thing is the marriage process. Nobody prepares you for the amount of paperwork or bureaucracy you would have to go through to get married to a person, other than a Moroccan. I don't know. I know exactly in Morocco, it's a very long and lengthy process. I'm not sure about other countries, but for us, it was very hard. We had to travel different cities. We had to go through meetings. We had tons of paperwork to do. He did paperwork in Canada. I had to do paperwork in Morocco. Doctor's appointments, you name it. You definitely need to prepare yourself for that.
Yeah, for foreigners, good luck. If you have any questions, just send us a message. Another one for me was the long distance. During the relationship, we started to talk, and then I came to Morocco, and I knew I had to leave. It was so hard for me. And at the end of the day, once I left, the process was done, and I had to come back to Canada. I didn't know what to do with myself. It was like, I'm married, but now I can't have that communication physically and see you and hold hands and do all the stuff that, people do when they're married.
Another thing for me was definitely the communication, because you were so direct and blunt, and the way I was raised, and in my culture we tend to sugarcoat things and we don't really come off blunt because it's looked at as rude. So it took me a lot of learning about you to overcome.
I got in trouble a lot saying things, yeah.
But I just had to understand that you were raised differently. But actually now I appreciate his directness, and I also learned from that.
She joins along. Yeah.
I joined along.
Last but not least for me, it's going to be the unsolicited advice people give you. Paperwork's going to take 20 years. It may not work out, Like, yeah, you got to really, focus, because maybe if you miss one thing, you're not going to be married. Or, if it doesn't work out, there's always, someone in Canada you can get married to. Negative, negative, negative. So, my advice to people, do not take people's advice and follow your heart. Continue to do what you got to do, because that was all we got was negative feedback.
Absolutely. You have to go into this having a very strong mindset and be very sure and precise about what you want to do and how you're going to do it, and block all the noise.
At the end of the day, if I can do it again, I do it all over again 1000% without taking people's advice. That's the honest truth.
If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to follow and leave us a comment.
Don't be shy.
So right there, cultural differences is one of the issues that interracial couples or relationships face. This is always underestimated because culture is not just about food or music. It's how you communicate when you're angry, how affection is shown, how gender roles are viewed, how money is handled, and how family involvement works. So when someone says that we love each other and that is enough, love is important, yes, but love without understanding culture will keep you causing friction, because what feels normal to one partner may feel disrespectful to the other. And this is why interracial couples have to be talking more and not less. It's better to discuss about them, just like you've seen some of those couples. That's why in most cases, when couples just begin to live together, you find that there is that friction. It's like, for me, I'm used to doing this, I'm used to talking like this, used to doing things this way, and then for him also, he's used to his own ways of doing things because that is his culture. And by the way, if you're not strong, you may break up with a person even before the real marriage starts. So you have to be talking more, sharing, being open with each other so that you can come to a harmony or some balance of how you want to be in your marriage. Then another challenge sometimes that interracial couples face is family disapproval. And this one hurts a lot of people. Family rejection doesn't always come as open insult. Sometimes it's silence, exclusion, backhanded comments, and being treated like you are temporarily. And what makes it even harder is when your partner, whose family is doing the rejection, says maybe they will all come around eventually. They will like you with the time. Don't worry, just be patient with them. And then some also may just ignore, but meanwhile the other partner who is being rejected is emotionally bleeding. And here is the truth: you can't build peace in your relationship if you allow disrespect from the outside, even if they are a family. So being in an interracial relationship means learning how to set boundaries early, even with your family. We have had interracial couples who have experienced this, where one of the partners is rejected by the other partner's family, where one of the partners is discriminated just maybe because of her skin color, sometimes maybe because of her background. And then comes racism and stereotypes. This is the part that people don't want really to talk about. But the fact is, racism doesn't disappear just because you're dating someone of another race. It can show up as fetishization, microaggressions. Maybe you are not like the others' comments, assumptions about aggression, loyalty, or sexuality. So here the key point is, when your partner faces racism and you minimize it, joke about it, or stay silent, then you become part of the problem. Interracial relationships also can face a challenge of power and privilege. And this is a deep one. Power dynamics in interracial relationships can show up in different ways. It may be through immigration status, passport privilege, financial stability, and social acceptance. And if these things are not acknowledged, one partner may slowly gain control without even realizing it. So healthy interracial relationships require self-awareness and not denial. And privilege doesn't mean that you are bad. It means that you have responsibility. Then there is another issue or challenge with sometimes children and identity. This conversation must happen before children enter the picture. Ask yourselves questions like, how will our children identify? How shall we talk to them about racism? The racism bit comes in, most especially if one of the partners, group or race has the issue of racism. Then which language, which culture, or which religion will be prioritized? Because avoiding such discussions doesn't keep the peace, it just delays conflict. Strong couples plan ahead. And also, there is an issue with communication, and it is something that some interracial couples face in their daily lives. There is also another challenge: differences in the kind of food that you are used to eating from your country or from your home. So adjusting to food is not so easy, especially if you've never lived in that country. It's not easy. At the beginning, you will face challenges. So race itself, it's not about being colorblind, but it's about being color conscious and compassionate. So I will end this video here. Let me know in the comments what's your thought about this. And if you found this video interesting, please hit that like button, subscribe. I will see you in the next video.